We're just a couple of days away from UFC Tampa, Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley, which means it's time for me to break down every single fight on this card, starting with the early prelim opener, going all the way up to the main event of the evening, Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. So without further ado, let's jump right into it with the first fight of the night, Josefine Knuttson versus Pierra Rodriguez. I think this is a sure thing for Knuttson. Pierra Rodriguez, she's 9-2, and in her last fight, even when she was kind of winning against like a nobody, she threw the fight away with some illegal headbutts. I don't think she's that good, to be honest. And Knuttson, she's 8-0, has a lot of potential coming into this one, and she's good on the feet, good cardio kickboxer, hips and has, throwing that hand out there. I think she's going to take home a decision victory. That'll be the official pick. Josefine Knuttson by decision. Going to the next fight of the card, we've got Davey Grant versus Ramon Taveras. This is an interesting one. Davey Grant's 38 years old. He hasn't fought since June or July of 2023, where he lost a split decision to Daniel Marcos, but that's not a bad loss, And Ramon Taveras, I actually think that he lost his last fight against Surrey City, which also was a split decision, but Surrey City I don't think is that good. I don't. And he knocked out Cortavius Romeus, but I don't think Cortavius Romeus is that good. I think Davey Grant has a lot more potential in this one. I get he's older, but Ramon Taveras has been knocked out twice before, and I think Davey Grant has a good chance to knock out Ramon Taveras here. So I think I'm going to take Davey Grant to either outpoint Ramon Taveras to a decision or knock him out later in the fight. I'm going to take Davey Grant round 3. TKO will be the pick. That'll be the official pick. I'm taking Davey Grant, though, in this one against Ramon Taveras. I don't have any faith in Ramon Taveras. I think he lost his last fight, and I don't think he's at the level to beat Davey Grant. I'm taking Davey Grant to knock him out in the third round. Moving up to the next fight of the card, we got Miranda Maverick versus Jamey Horth. Miranda Maverick won her last 3 fights, has a lot of potential, 27 years old. Jamey Horth, she won her last fight against Ivana Petrovic by split decision. I did pick her to win that fight, but she definitely didn't win that fight. It should have been Petrovic. But it was a relatively close fight, I guess. But I think Miranda Maverick will win this pretty convincingly using her grappling and wrestling game. That'll be the pick. I'm taking Miranda Maverick to grit out a decision here against Jamey Horth. I think it's a pretty easy pick, to be honest with you. Not going in a parlay, though, I don't think. I've learned that before. Miranda Maverick by decision will be the pick. Next fight up the card. I'm excited for this one. Miles Johns versus Felipe Lima. So Miles Johns 15-2, Felipe Lima 13-1. Felipe Lima's coming off of a very impressive finish over Naimov on the UFC Saudi Arabia card earlier this year. Great finish by him. I was so close to picking him, but I bitched out of that one. You live and you learn, I guess, because Miles Johns, he's 15-2, and his only 2 losses are John Castaneda and Mario Batista. Both by finish, we got tapped out by Castaneda, got knocked out by Mario Batista. And Felipe Lima is a killer. He's got amazing striking and amazing grappling, and I'm not going to sleep on him again. I think he's going to get the upset here against Miles Johns. I don't even know what the line is, but I would assume Miles Johns to be the favorite because, he has the UFC experience. But I think Felipe Lima is going to get the upset. You saw, the Diego Lopez against fucking Movsar Evloev, last year. That was a very close fight, and, I'm just not going to underestimate a guy like Lima coming in who has shown that aggressive style in the past. I don't think Miles Johns is going to upset him here or get the best of him. I think Felipe Lima is going to beat him up on the feet with his 2-inch reach advantage, and he's going to sub him at some point. I'm going to go with a Felipe Lima round 2 submission win will be the official pick. Next fight up the card, we got Sean Woodson versus Fernando Padilla. So Sean Woodson, he's got a good name to himself. He's this funky, he looks really weird, really odd physique to him where he's really long and lanky and scrawny, but he actually surprisingly good. You know, I've gave him some shit in the past, but he keeps on winning. He keeps on winning. 12-1, that's nothing to write. Like, that's a great record, to be honest. That's nothing to write off. Padilla, he lost to Kyle Nelson, which, I mean, Kyle Nelson's not bad. I like Kyle Nelson. But, like, the wins that he's getting, Louis Pagello, they're just not great names. And I think Sean Woodson is a bit too good for him. You know, Sean Woodson has beaten a lot of good people in the division. And I don't think he's going to lose this one here. He's going to pepper out his jab, his front kick to a decision victory will be the official pick. Sean Woodson by decision. Next fight up the card. Joel Alvarez versus Drakkar Klose. Jesus. I'm sorry, Drakkar Klose. You are cooked, buddy. Joel Alvarez, submission machine. This guy's putting you out in one. Round 1 submission win for Joel Alvarez is my official pick. This guy's a beast. He's coming off of a knockout victory against Elvis Brenner in his last fight, but he's got 17 submission wins. He's mainly a submission guy. And Drakkar Klose, 7-inch reach disadvantage here. I think he gets beat up on the feet and club and sub scenario. Joel Alvarez by sub is the pick, round 1. Next fight up the card, we've got Michael Johnson versus Ottman Azaitar. So this is an interesting one, you know. Michael Johnson in his last one, he beat Darius Flowers by decision, but he's been like winning and losing his past like 4 or 5 fights. So it's tough there. And like Ottman Azaitar, he's lost his last 2 by knockout. So it's a tough one to decide here, you know. Ottman Azaitar is 34 years old compared to Michael Johnson, who's 38. And if we're going by patterns here, Michael Johnson should get knocked out in this fight. So we'll see how that goes. But Ottman Azaitar, he just isn't really amazing. I think if he doesn't get an early finisher, then he's probably cooked. Michael Johnson does have great experience, a lot of experience in the UFC. Ottman Azaitar has like 1 finish in the UFC against Kamal Worthy, so it's a tough one. I was about to pick Ottman Azaitar by KO, but now I'm going to pick Michael Johnson. I'll be smart here. I'll pick Michael Johnson by decision, you know. Now that I said all that, Ottman Azaitar is going to knock him out in 1, but I'm going to pick Michael Johnson. I'll side with him one last time because I don't think Ottman Azaitar is that good. We'll see how it goes, but Michael Johnson by decision is the pick. Michael Johnson by KO is the pick. Fuck it. In the first round, these guys will be banging. I feel like Ottman Azaitar is going to try to get him out early. It's just a matter of who gets the better of who. And I think Michael Johnson's ring experience will get the better of Ottman Azaitar. So Michael Johnson, round 1, KO is the pick. So we're on to the main card here. And the first fight of the main card, Navajo Stirling versus Tuco Tokkos. So Navajo got a highlight reel knockout in his last fight on Dana White Contender Series. This is his first fight in the UFC. And he's against Tuco Tokkos, who in his last fight was on 3 days' notice against Umar Sy. I just want to make that clear first. He flew from Abu Dhabi because he had a fight signed in Abu Dhabi at the time. So he flew 17 hours back to the States or wherever it was, cut 20 pounds in 3 days, made weight to fight Umar Sy on 3 days' notice, and he gassed in the first round and got finished. So this is a really tough one. Tuco has a full camp. Guys, I like Tuco. I do like Tuco, you know. I don't want to harp on him or anything. I don't think he's a bad fighter or anything. He got the short end of the stick last time. You gotta factor that in. He had no training camp. He was cutting 20 pounds on 3 days, so he gassed in the first round and got out-grappled and submitted. And Mingyang Zhang also knocked this guy out. But Mingyang Zhang's been knocking out everyone. But Navajo Stirling's also knocking out everyone. So, like, I don't want to be the dummy again. So I'm going to be the smart guy, and I'm going to pick Navajo Stirling by a round 1 knockout A round 2 knockout against Tuco because he takes his time. I think Navajo definitely will be better on the feet than Tuco. He's got 7 inches of reach on Tuco. But if Tuco gets a hold of him and gets him to the mat, this is a very interesting fight because we haven't really seen Navajo on the ground. And Tuco is a good grappler. Despite what Umar C did to him, he still is a good grappler. So this is an interesting one. I think it's definitely worth it putting a couple pennies on Tuco by submission. Because he's going to be crazy odds, I'm telling you. It definitely is worth it. But my official pick will be Navajo Stirling by a round 2 TKO win over Tuco Tokkos. That'll be the pick. Moving up to the next fight of the card, Adrian Yanez versus Daniel Marcos. So Adrian Yanez, last fight, he beat Vinicius Salvador by knockout. Quick finish there, but he got finished in his 2 fights before that, Rob Font by knockout and Jonathan Martinez by leg kick TKO. Daniel Marcos, he's undefeated, 16-0 compared to Yanez, 17-5. They're both 31 years old. Pretty similar reach between these two guys. This is going to be a good fight. I'm excited to see how this one plays out. I do think Daniel Marcos will win this fight, most likely. I think he probably will get the better moments on the feet at some points. I think if anyone knocks each other out, it probably would be Yanez knocking out Marcos, possibly a flash knockout type. I don't even know because Yanez has been knocked out before and Marcos hasn't. So maybe that's a crazy thing to say. But I think Marcos definitely has the better instincts. Like if the fight's not going his way, he'll clinch up with you, hold you against the fence, get some control time that way, bank the round. I think he's the smarter fighter that way. So I'm going to take Daniel Marcos to win this fight by decision. I don't see a finish for Daniel Marcos. So we'll see how it plays out. I think it will be a good fight, but I think Daniel Marcos takes this home decision. So next fight up the card, we've got Vitor Petrino versus Dustin Jacoby. So Vitor Petrino's last fight, if I'm not wrong, was Anthony Smith at UFC 301. So that was such a brain-dead fight IQ moment. Vitor Petrino shot a fucking stupid double leg on Anthony Smith and got his head laced up in a guillotine early on. I swear it was before he even threw a strike on Anthony Smith. He just put his head into Anthony Smith's guillotine and tapped out. Dummy, dumb. You are a striker. Knock out Anthony Smith. It should have been the easiest fight ever, but instead Petrino wanted to get subbed that night. And Dustin Jacoby in his last fight got obliterated by Dominic Reyes. He's a guy that's taken a lot of damage in his career. I don't think this is a hard pick. I think Vitor Petrino is going to bully this guy. Destroy him in the first round. Round 1 knockout. Left hook, right hook, knee up the middle, left hook, uppercut, left hook. Drops him against the fence, Vitor Petrino, round 1, TKO win will be the official pick. Next fight up the card, we've got Manel Kape versus Bruno Silva. So Manel Kape's coming off of that embarrassing loss to Muhammad Makayev. Embarrassing, just completely sad performance by both of them in that fight. And he even got his ass cheeks exposed in the fight. So he got completely tormented and, just made a fool. Bruno Silva in his last fight, I'm pretty sure he was losing to Cody Durden. If I remember, he was losing that fight, or it was at least tied 1-1. And it was the 3rd round, and he, jabbed Cody Durden in the eye, and Cody Durden, coiled up against the fence and was like, oh, my eye. And the fight ended. So it's a weird stoppage with that one. And Josh Van couldn't put out Cody Durden in his last fight, so it's crazy. Cody Durden's unbreakable chin was put out due to a jab from Bruno Silva. Very interesting. But Manel Kape, I think he's going to have a star boy performance here, where he's going to show why he had some potential, why he had some name value in the division, He needs to get it back. He got bullied in his last performance. He got bitched pretty much. Ass cheeks exposed. Pants pulled down. Wrestle fucked, Sad performance by Manel Kape. Sad performance by Muhammad Mokaev as well. But you let a 21-year-old or whatever do that to you? Muhammad Mokaev is not an old guy. He's not a big guy. You said you were going to do all this shit to him, and you couldn't. But Bruno Silva, he's not going to be grappling you the same way Muhammad Mokaev was. So you don't have to worry about that. You just have to worry about his BJJ a little bit. So just don't enter his guard. But I think Manel Kape will be able to outpoint Bruno Silva, take home a decision victory. Who knows, though, because the judges kind of hate Manel Kape. We'll see. Manel Kape by decision will be the official pick. Moving up the card, Cub Swanson versus Billy Quarantillo. This one's interesting, guys. We've got patterns up against each other. Cub Swanson and Billy Quarantillo both have lost and won, lost and won, lost and won. They're past like 5, 6, 7 fights pretty much. But Cub Swanson is a 41-year-old of the two. Billy Quarantillo's 36 years old. He was finished in his last fight by Youssef Zalal. But Zalal is a killer. Cub Swanson technically won his last fight, if you think about it. Because Andre Philly in that Cub Swanson fight shouldn't have won. It was a split decision, and everyone called it a robbery. Everyone thought Cub Swanson won that fight. So technically, Billy Quarantillo's pattern is due here because Cub Swanson broke his pattern last fight with 2 wins in a row. Listen, this is an interesting way to break this one down, but it's going to work out. Listen, I've overthought this one. Billy Quarantillo will win this fight. This is going the distance. I don't see a finish by either of these fighters here. I'm trying out a new prediction method between these two guys, you know? We got patterns up against each other, and we got Billy Quarantillo's pattern coming out on top, breaking Cub Swanson's pattern. So we'll see how that goes. Billy Quarantillo by decision will be the official pick. So on to the main event of the evening. We got Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. Colby Covington 17-4. Joaquin Buckley's 20-6. But Joaquin Buckley's 5-0 at welterweight. And Colby Covington is 36 years old now. Has like a 6-inch reach disadvantage in this one. And, you know, he's not at the best place in his career. Leon Edwards just made it pretty clear in his last fight that he won. Apart from that round 5, that was the only moment Colby Covington had. Leon Edwards was leading the dance the entire way through. And Joaquin Buckley is physically imposing. He's strong as fuck. Like, I don't know. I don't see how Colby Covington can win this one. I really don't. You think Colby Covington's strong, gritty American grappling's gonna hold a candle to Joaquin Buckley? Fucking, he eats his Wheaties, man. People forget, man. This guy's got muscles. This guy's big. This guy's physically imposing, man. He's scary. You don't want to be on the other side of Joaquin Buckley's punch. His fucking Superman hook. Whatever the fuck he knocked out Wonder Boy with. It was like a leaping left hook. That shit was scary, man. That had ill intent on it. That had fucking heritage behind it. You don't want to be on the other end of that. Colby Covington, this guy, he's just showing up for a check. You know, those Instagram ads, they weren't paying the bills. Joaquin Buckley's taking this home. But I don't think he knocks him out. Listen, he couldn't put out Nursultan Ruzaboev. Colby Covington's got a chin. This guy's granite chin. He takes damage. He gets in firefights. He might have a moment or two in here, but Joaquin Buckley will take it home. We're going to go with Joaquin Buckley. 5-round decision win will be the official pick. Let me know what you guys thought. That's the entire card. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We'll be back here for more soon. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.